I thought we came out with a lot of energy. We played great defense. We had a lot of offense off of our defense. We were active. I thought Chad did a really good job in the ball screens. We had a guy at the rim. We just, defensively, we played extremely well, overall. But the first half, everything was clicking for the first 15 minutes. And I thought we got off to a really good start in the second half. We got up by 20, and then we went, like the 10-minute mark, maybe 10-5 or whatever, we went into a lull. And, we weren't scoring. We were missing stuff, missed some shots inside. And then we were breaking down a little bit on defense. But it's at those times where we got to slow down and really execute. And, we made enough foul shots. We made enough plays. Our defense carried us to hold Duquesne to 6 threes, to hold them to 55 points or 56 points, 20 points under their average. It was a really good defensive game. We took care of the ball in the first half, 10 assists, 3 turnovers. Second half, 3 assists, 10 turnovers. We just got to continue to work on being consistent. But, the things that we've been struggling at, rebounding, we out-rebounded them. We got to the foul line more than they did, and we defended. And that's what you need to do in order to win at this level.
Mark, you hit your first 10 shots, they go 1 for 13. That kind of sets a tone for you, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like you got to get off to a good start. That's the key. The first 4 or 5 minutes, the first 5 minutes of the second half, those are critical. And we knocked them back a little bit, and then they're playing from behind, and that's hard to do. That's hard to do, but give them credit. They kept on fighting. They're a really good team. They've had, very good wins. They scored a ton of points, but I thought our defense and our rebounding was really good today.
Coach, when you go into some of those lulls that you just mentioned, like in the second half, what can you attribute to that? Just taking bad shots or forcing things? Or?
No, I thought we missed some shots, and it's like, we missed some shots, and then, they go down and, they get an easy one, or, we missed a layup and they went down and hit a 3, and that layup would have put us up by 12. Now we miss it. Now it's a 7-point game. Those are the things that we can't, those are the mistakes we can't make. It's like when we have that layup, we got to make that layup. But like I said, we're young, we're still learning. But like I said, overall, I can't complain. To beat Duquesne, hold them to 56 points, that's a heck of an effort by our guys.
And to have everybody come into the game for you guys and score at some point, score in the first half too, just what does that say about your depth right now?
Yeah, I think they're coming off the bench and giving us a lift. I think, Quan hit a 3. I thought Brett came in and gave us a lift. I think that's important. Moses struggled a little bit, but you're not going to have your A game every game. That's why you need guys coming off the bench and giving us a lift. And I thought, Jan's 3 in the corner was probably the shot of the game, and broke the momentum, got us back up by 10 or whatever. But overall, no complaints. They played hard, and that's the most important thing.
Mark, generally, how are you feeling about this team now? 6 games into the A-10, 4-2.
How am I feeling?
Yeah.
Good and bad. We're at times we're good, at times we're not very good. We got to continue to get better. It's like it's going to be like that. We want to play our best basketball at the end of the year, and we certainly haven't played our best basketball, and we're striving to do that. And that's we'll go back to practice tomorrow and watch the tape and try to get better. It's you never, as a coach, you're never satisfied. There's always something that you have to get better, and we got a lot of things we got to get better at.
Daryl is one of the leaders on this team. When you guys go colder in the second half, just what's the message out there to your guys?
Yeah, we just huddle up. We got to make sure that even if we're cold on the offensive end, that we're still taking care of our defensive end. Because if we're not getting stops and we're not making shots, then that's how they come back into the game. So that's just the emphasis, really.
And you've obviously scored the ball really well, all season long, but in particular here on home court. So how important is it for you just, to come on home court every single time like you have and just, have a good scoring game like that?
It's big for us. I just try to do what I can do to help the team win, even if it's not points, if it's rebounding, getting defensive stops, whatever it is. I just do whatever I need to do to get better.
Daryl, 4 steals. What was the key to what you were doing specifically on defense?
Just being active. We knew, Coach said it from practice and stuff, that toughness was like the 50-50 balls, deep rebounding, taking charge. That was a big emphasis for this game. So just coming out with that energy, just setting the tone early, just helped us spark for the game.
Coach, after back-to-back home wins, you go on the road on Saturday. How do you take the momentum? How do you create it at home?
Great question. We're 0-6 on the road. You know, we got to play like we did the first 15 minutes of the game. That's what we got to do. We can't have those lulls. It's hard. It's hard on the road when you go through those lulls and you give up momentum to get the momentum back on the road. You know, so you have to play so much better on the road to win. You know, it's even today. You know, we go through that lull and they cut it to 5 or 6. It's hard. That's a hard game to win on the road when we do that. You know, so you know, hopefully our guys have learned. You know, we were close against Rhode Island, probably the closest that we've been. You know, we just got to play better. We got to defend. We got to rebound. We got to take care of the ball. We got to make our foul shots. You know, we got to play with energy. We got to play like we did the first 15 minutes, like we played tonight. And if that's, you know, that I'm not sure that's going to be good enough, but that's going to give us a chance.
Chad, for you, just after a couple quieter offensive games, just how good is it just to kind of get back rolling for you?
I wasn't really focused on that. I was just honestly just trying to help our team win. It feels all right, but I feel like I contribute a little bit more for all of us, you know.
Anything else?
Good. Okay, great. Thanks.